Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curless Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And man, I am psyched. Always really excited to have my favorite person from Scotland on the channel, Mr. Stephen Reid. Stephen, how are you today?
I am fabulous today, and with an introduction like that, it makes me wonder: am I the only person from Scotland that you know?
I
Don't need
don't.
to answer. You don't need to answer.
Okay. I'm just gonna let that one go. We'll let it
Yeah,
slide.
that's fine. It's good. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Just that's a great, it's an introduction I just thought off the top of my head, but um,
In a
but
field of one, he's my favourite person from Scotland.
it's true though. No, you're great, man. I really enjoy Steven a lot, and he's always got a lot a lot to
A
say
lot to say.
in a good way, and I enjoy his his takes on stuff, and it's been great to have you on the channel. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to come on and well, we discussed just before we started there. Let's not gush too much about an album we both love. But
Yeah.
it's been a joy to talk about a band that I definitely love from start almost to finish. There are some rocky moments. This is not one of them.
This is this is not one of them. For me, this is a definite high point for this band. And as you know, Stephen and I have been going through the Marillion catalog, the Fish era so far, and we are now at the final Fish record, sadly. But of course, we are talking about Clutching at Straws. And I don't have the reissue. I'm really I looked for the reissue, and there it is. Of course, he's got it. There it is. Yes. I have to own that at some point. Right now it's super expensive online. It's super expensive.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think there has been some reissues of this, but whether how available it is or not, I don't know. But I've said before on the show when we discussed Marillion, these are fabulous. They really are. They're up there with some of the best kind of reissue series that we've seen,
They're
and that
so good.
continues.
They're
Yeah,
so good. Yeah, I got Misplaced Childhood, but that was pretty reasonable for some reason. They must be more out there.
yeah,
But yeah, here's my original CD copy from like what 87 like that I bought right when it came out. And so
nice.
you could tell because it's got that old school sort of lettering and like the way and
Yeah.
then I did buy the reissue CD version. So I mean I got two copies of it. And I love the CD on it. Yeah, it's great. Um but showing the cocktail and the warm wet circles. Yes, there it is. Yep. Yep. Love that. Um so yes, so 1987, to be exact, June 22nd, 1987. Do you remember the first time you heard this record? Were you on board at this point and buying the record when it came out? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
yeah.
It would be now, whether it's true or not, my elder brother's claim to fame in 1987 was that he was walking past Gold Rush, so that was the record shop that we all used, as they were getting their delivery on the day that this album came out. And he saw the boxes going in, and he went in the shop and was standing first in the queue. And he was the first person in Perth, roughly where I live, to buy this album.
Okay.
So there you go. So yes, I heard it, if not day of release, certainly week of release, and knew the catalogue well by this stage already. I would be 14, just 14 when this
Right.
album came out. So
Yep.
kind of right in the right spot for listening to this kind of album and being thoroughly ensconced in it. So yeah, I was right from the off, blown away from the off. I already knew Incommunicado by
Right.
this stage because
Right.
this came out before the album did.
Yep.
Um, Not necessarily representative of the album as a whole, because as we'll come to, it's very much a rock song as opposed
Right.
to a kind of progressive rock song. But love it. I love Incommunicado. So was primed for the album and was not disappointed.
Yes, yes, and you're right. You think about that. Incommunicado really is very up. Like the music
Mm.
is extremely up,
Yep.
in comparison to the rest of the album.
Yep.
It's got that that really crazy part with Mark Kelly.
Yep.
And I love it. I mean, I think it's a great track. I mean, it's a really good, like very, very high quality Marillion rocker. Um, And man, Fish just, as he does on the whole record, his vocals are just, I mean, I think you said this a long time. You said this a while ago. I think you said something like Fish is not an amazing technical singer,
Mhm.
but he just emotes just the way he means,
Yeah.
you can tell he means it.
I think it's very interesting. I'm a Marillion fan, as I said earlier on, right from the start. There are a few bumps along the road, as there are with any band that's been around this long, right to the current day. And I would suggest, hand on heart, who's a better singer? Who's a better singer, Fish or Steve Hogarth? Well, Steve Hogarth's a better singer,
Yeah.
but there's a reason why he doesn't necessarily love singing these songs. It's not because they're not well constructed and he can't sing them. It's because it's the voice that belongs to these songs, and Fish's voice belongs to these songs. He's telling you with this album and with previous ones, there's quite an abstract story going on here. There's an undercurrent of kind of 80s Europe going on in these lyrics, but it's also very personal. And it's quite difficult to ask anybody, good singer, bad singer, whatever it may be, to come in and deliver it the way that he delivers it. It's so believable. He makes everything so believable. If you break it
Yeah.
down, is he brilliant? No. Is he brilliant on this album? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. So let's I think it's important to give a little bit of backstory with this record. I mean, just a little bit. Or, okay, these guys are coming off their biggest record yet, right? Misplaced Childhood was a big hit for them, and they are graduating into bigger venues, and they're making videos, and they are getting pushed to tour and play live a lot more. They're playing to much bigger venues, bigger, more people. Things are escalating quickly after Kaylee, especially after Kaylee hits, you know. And so especially in Europe, right? I mean, in the US, they're still, I mean, they're known, but they're not like this massive band. Because I lived in the US, I was like, yeah, a lot of people were like, who, really, who? And I was like, Marillion, you heard of them? No, like a lot of people didn't hear, still listening to Def Leppard. They're not listening to Marillion at this point. So but there was a cult in the US. There was definitely, like, in the know, there were certain people that loved Marillion. But in Europe, I mean, you can speak to this better than I can. Well, they were definitely becoming a big band.
Yes, they were definitely becoming a big band at this stage. We're playing like not stadiums, but we're playing arenas and we're headlining festivals, European and UK tours that are months and months long, if not years long. And if there's one thing for a band, especially in this era, that success brings, it's pressure.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that to me is probably the best word that describes the build up to this album. Because as a band, musically, well, they've never been tighter, realistically.
Hmm.
As individuals, that's beginning to not be the case now. It had been very much through the first, with some casualties along the way, but through the first three albums, this was very much a band of brothers.
Right.
Realistically, they had a really shared goal, and a real passion, a drive to get there, and that is why there were some members who were left by the wayside as success was striven for. Realistically, and a lot of bands do that. Marillion are not unique in knowing that. Do you know what? We love this guy, but if we want to get to there, we need to get somebody else in his place. Not easy
Right.
to do, but it
Hmm.
definitely worked out for Marillion in that sense.
Hmm.
But by this stage, there's beginning to be two factions, realistically, as we head into this album. And factions really can only even themselves out and work if they're quite even. And what we have here is a faction of four musicians and a singer,
Right. Right. Yep.
realistically, going
Yep.
into this album.
Yes.
And the pressure of coming off something as successful as Misplaced Childhood led to a band that who were already notoriously slow in writing music,
Yes.
very
Yes.
much second guessing themselves,
Right.
and hence why on this, and I would imagine on your reissue, there's
Hmm.
a bonus disc of an almost completed album, realistically, Clutching at Straws demos, as it's called on here,
Right.
that the band themselves dubbed as Misplaced Childhood Part 2.
Yes, I
That
can
was
see that.
why
Yes, I can
they
see
didn't
that.
then go on and
Yep.
use that. Now, it's a fascinating little kind of section in their history because you can hear little bits from some of these songs that go on to feature in Season's End.
Right.
And lyrically, almost some of it exactly, but it's definitely a lot of it in terms of theme go on to be on Vigil in a Wilderness of Mirrors, so Fish's first solo album, because he got to a stage where he started to not appreciate what the guys were putting together musically.
Right.
And the four
Right.
guys in the band were all kind of going, I don't know if we really want to write music to these words.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
there was an awful lot of never the twain shall meet. And we'll touch on some of this as we go through. So they scrapped all of that and started again on what this album became. Thankfully, well, it worked out quite magnificently. But it was pretty much in the balance, that has to be said, because yet
Yeah.
again, they found themselves kind of behind the eight ball. We must deliver, because once you're successful, you've got to be successful again. You've got to go and do it all again. It's not enough to just, well, you know what, we've had the hit. So
Right.
it's well good now. Now you've got to go do it again and prove that you weren't the one hit wonder.
Right. It's not like we cracked it. Now we can just sit down and relax. No, it's like EMI is immediately going, okay, we got another album right now. Another album. Let's go. Like, yeah, pushing them.
You
And
know?
like you said, Marillion was never fast at writing. I mean, they were
No.
never like, and they would work on material, jamming, and they would come up with things, and they'd have little riffs, and then they would, it was just this meticulous process. Then they put other things together with other things, and then they would just say, okay, Fish, give me some lyrics right now. Like, I mean, and sometimes that can be difficult. I mean, because I noticed from being a musician myself, like I can come up with music, but coming up with words is harder. And especially like on this, like, hurry up, let's go. We need some words. It's like, well, give me a minute. Like, I need some
Yeah.
inspiration. It's
I
like,
think that the difficulty with that as well is that they didn't really work in sync in that
Mhm.
sense. Marillion always, the four guys in the band, would jam realistically. Yes, they would come with ideas, a little motif or a guitar line or a section, but they would work on these all together and piece music into songs as
Mhm.
opposed to coming like a lot of bands do and say, well, I worked all this out at home, you'll play this, I'll play that, he'll sing that, and off we go. Hey, 10, 20 minutes later, here's a song, guys.
The song, right, right.
Marillion don't do that. They jam and they work things out and they sit down for a whole day and just play. And they might find that they've got 3 minutes worth of music in there that you think, that's maybe worth going back to and listening to and working out what we could do with that. And that's become more prevalent as they've gone on. But with Fish, he would bring words in and then try and work words round all of these things. So when he's bringing in words and they're going, we don't like these, and then he turns around and goes, yeah, but what you're putting together isn't what I want to sing to.
Yeah, yeah.
It all starts to do an awful lot of this, and it should have fallen apart. It didn't, and then it did.
Yes, yes. They pulled it together for the record. Exactly. They pulled it
Yeah.
together. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of a couple different scenarios. And I was thinking about this when I was getting ready for this. A little bit of Genesis Lamb Lies Down, where Peter Gabriel is in the other room writing lyrics and the band is recording, doing all the music. I would say that there are a lot of parallels to The Wall as well with Pink Floyd, with, Pink, being Roger, and, Torch being Fish, and and there was also a divide, and during the making of The Wall, there was a lot of tension and a divide, and so there's just, and and it's interesting that even the themes of being on the road forever, and having these stresses of being successful and being on the road and being away from your family and drinking a lot and doing drugs, and there's a lot of different parallels to that, I would say.
Yes, very much so. I think that with Clutching at Straws, the theory is that this is more autobiographic than certainly The Wall was. It's more abstract in that
Right,
sense. So
right.
not only is that friction there, but the friction is also being kind of brought to the songs in that way because the band are not comfortable with. I mean, Warm Wet Circles is a single. It's a classic
No.
Marillion song,
Yeah.
and the band
Yeah.
are not really comfortable with the thought of singing about warm wet circles.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Especially as a single topic, because you can dress them up as this on a beer glass all you want. That's not. It's not necessarily what we're talking about with warm wet circles. It's more carnal than that, or at least it gives that imagery, or it can
Yes.
do. And
Yes.
certainly, I know that Mark Kelly has alluded to in his book that he was like, "Are we really putting that out there as a topic that we're going to call the single warm wet circles?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was tension all the way through, and there are lyrics that touch on some of the other topics because Vigil in the Wilderness of Mirrors, but more Internal Exile, so Fish's second solo album, leans strongly into Scottish independence and a lot of UK politics and various things like that. And when you listen to the demos on here, he's already going down that line, and some of those lyrics get through into Clutching at Straws, but not very many. But the band were kind of like going, hold on a minute, there's one Scottish guy here, and there's quite a lot of guys that are not. There's four guys from England here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we really talking about Scottish independence or those kind of political themes in the songs that we're putting together? So there's an awful lot of tension going on during all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So, but it does make for great art. And I think that they do, to your point, they do push through this and they do make a record with Chris Kemsey again, who makes them sound better than ever on this album. I just think the sonics are just so great. I mean, the guitars are just the guitars are light and airy, and they're also attacking. You know,
Yeah.
I think that Steve Rothery said he was very happy with the sound of his guitars on this album. Um, and so let's just get through the record a little bit. Let's start it out. So Hotel Hobbies. I mean, and I'm just gonna come clean. We've already talked about this already. I'm just gonna come clean and say this is for me. This is a 5-star album. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with it. I love this record. This is my absolute favorite Marillion record. I just think it's so good. I think it's perfect in every way. It's just the way I feel about it. I love the themes of it. I love the music. I love the production. There's just nothing wrong with it for me. So
Yeah. I mean, I have picked one or two faults as we go through because I picked one or two faults as we go through, but I've had to go looking for them. I've had to dig
yeah,
to try
yeah,
and find
gotta
them.
work to find it. Yeah, exactly.
And as always, I suppose, even when you kind of dissect an album that you know this well, that you've loved this long, when you sit and think about it all, you go, well, maybe this or maybe that. I mean, who am I to do that? But there's
Right.
always something there, I
Yeah.
suppose. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm going to try not to gush
All
too
right.
much.
Okay. Well, I'll be the gush guy. It's fine. So I'll take the hit on that one. But Hotel Hobbies, what a great way to start. I mean, it kind of starts again, Marillion's very good at the sort of setting the atmosphere. And it sort of starts atmospheric a little bit. And what's your take on the Hotel Hobbies?
Well, I mean, it's moody and it's atmospheric, and those are words that you could use again and again and again when you discuss this album. And it
Yeah.
also, it doesn't pull its punches. It's dark right from the off. This is not
Right.
going to
Right.
be a laugh
Yeah.
a minute.
Mhm.
And I guess if you're looking for, and there are some release points across the album, so it's not all doom and gloom. And even the doom and gloom you can sing along to quite often.
Yes. Right. Right. Right.
You know, it's a real
Yeah.
skill. But Hotel Hobbies, yeah, I mean, the guitars are cutting right from the off.
Mhm.
Under different circumstances, the keyboards could be quite cheerful, but in this setting, they land in a completely different way. It's much more foreboding. There's much more threat already, and lyrically, yes, I mean, there's a lot going on this album, as you would expect with Fish writing the song, because we are looking at Torch, a kind of autobiographical figure. He's an outsider, definitely kind of sees himself as a failure. I would suggest down on his luck, not necessarily the most functioning fa- family that he's coming from, not a functioning father in many ways, and wants to find the answer in the bottom of a glass or other
Right.
things along those kind of lines. So yeah, it's enigmatic and it's dark, but it compels you to dig deeper right from the off.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's an intriguing start, and you always think of Hotel Hobbies. It's like what kind of name? Again, a kind of a strange name for a song. But you think about people that are on tour; they spend a lot of time in hotels, and they're just sitting around. There's a lot of they always talk about you sit around waiting for the show all day. You're just there's nothing to do. You're just sitting around all day waiting for the show to happen. You
Yes,
know?
and then you go back to the hotel afterwards when you're
Right.
on that high, and
Yes.
the adrenaline rush is there, and you go back there and it's time to calm down, and it's not going to happen, is it? So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going to try and manage that in different ways.
Yes, 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 exactly. Which takes us perfectly into warm, wet circles, which we talked about earlier. This was a sort of a contentious. this might have been one of the contentious songs because, like you said, Mark Kelly, there it is, there it is. I love it. Look at that artwork again. I just love the artwork. Mark Williamson again, just killing it.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm going to be really picky here. That I have gushed about Mark Wilkinson and will continue to
Wilkinson, sorry, yes, yes,
Wilkinson,
yes.
but I think this is not the best that he's done.
Not his best.
Individually, individually fantastic as
Right.
a,
Yeah.
but, but I mean, it's the lower end of fantastic.
Yes. Right, exactly. Let's qualify it, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, Warm Wet Circles, I still I love this track. I just love the way it explodes at
yeah,
I mean it just again like you said, Hotel Hobbies kind of has this little tension kind of, and then and it kind of it does accelerate, but then like Warm Wet Circles is like an explosion of sorts. And I think this was kind of bandied about when it was being written, as you mentioned earlier, as almost like a single. And then I think that the band was a little worried about the lyric content and maybe it wouldn't be, I don't know.
yeah. It is an odd choice as a single, but really, there are three singles from the album, and I'm not convinced there's another one. So I can understand at this stage when the pattern is single before the album, release the album, release two more singles. That's the way that EMI worked with Marillion at this point, and would continue on to for a little while. So I suppose they had to work out what the singles were going to be, and you can sing along with this, but it's
Hmm.
not cheerful. This is
No,
not
it's not.
cheerful. This is not. I mean, it was never destined to be a number two like Kaylee was, because even though Kaylee is not cheerful, it's an
Mhm.
upbeat love song. You can holler along with the chorus, and you can move on with circles too. But it's a fabulous song. It's an
Yeah.
absolutely fabulous song. But lyrically, it's dark and it's questionable, and there's not much light at the end of the tunnel with this. So you're not going to come through this going, oh, it's heartbreaking, but it all works out, because it doesn't really. Not in Warm Weight Circles, it doesn't.
No,
But yeah,
no.
I mean, the guitar solo is prime Rodri, isn't it? It's just phenomenal, beautiful, scathing, written across his heart kind of thing. It's really good, and I love the drums. I love the drums
Yeah,
on
the
this album.
drums. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
really, I back in the day when I used to play drums, I used to play the drums along with this album all the time, because there are just so many little hooks that you listen for with the
Yeah.
drum beats and the way they drop out and they come back in. Love it. Yeah. So this is classic stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, we've talked about that before about Ian Mosley has that sort of subtle thing that he does it where he'll accent things and right at the perfect time. He'll do this fill and you're like, "Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect for that." He does that in Warm Wet Circles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
He punctuates the music really well. I find that he's a really natural drummer. He can play an awful lot of things that are more technical than you would first think, but it's more technical than you first think because he does it in such a non-flashy kind of way that he kind of gets forgotten about sometimes in terms of just how interesting what he plays is. But he plays for the song. It's
Yeah.
always for the song. It's not about how fast can I play this fill or can I fill this little space with something different. It's
Yeah.
just really what does the song need, and that's what he brings it. And that to me is sometimes a far greater skill than someone that's got chops to burn. There's a place for that. Marillion's music's not really the place for that.
Yeah. And I gotta point out, I love at the end of this when it kind of pulls way back and you get the circles. It's like, oh, that is so cool. Like, I
Yep.
just love the way it ends with the female vocal and oh, it's
Yep.
so cool. Love that.
Great arrangement.
Yeah,
It's the whole album has great arrangement, but it's a real strength of the album before this and this one too.
yeah, absolutely, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you're right. Because a lot of this, great point. A lot of this is sort of a refinement from Misplaced Childhood. I mean, there's a lot you can hear a lot of that in this. It's just refined. Is that
Yes,
fair to say?
it's funny. I suppose subconsciously when I was younger, because you don't think about it in those terms back then. This is more of a song-based album, even though a lot of the songs do still segue into each other. Not
Right,
all of them.
right.
So it's not a full-blown concept album, start to finish, one continuous piece of music only split because of side one and side two. But it does feel more song-based to me. It does
Yeah,
feel like that we've
yeah,
done this song now, we've moved on to that one, where you listen to Misplaced Childhood and you can listen to side one and not quite know where
Yeah,
everything starts and
what's what?
finishes.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it's interesting. One of the reviews of early reviews, I think, of this record said, "Oh, someone's got a stopwatch on them or something. Somebody's making them do regular songs now, or something like that." And you kind of wonder if that was Chris saying, like, "Okay, guys, let's make more like regular song. Like, let's make a song out of this. You know, let's not just do a huge suite of things. Let's make these songs."
I think it's also maybe indicative of a band that have already created an album's worth of material and have then gone, let's start again. So
Yeah,
can you
yeah,
really create 45 minutes worth of music, start to finish,
right.
second time round, or arguably third time round, because we've done it for a full album.
Oh,
Then
that's
we've,
right, right. Yeah,
so there's maybe different things at play here as well. But a lot of the reason the Marillion songs don't end and move into the next one is because, by their own admission, they're terrible at finishing songs.
yes, right, right. Right. Yes. It's kind of like the case of the Abbey Road medley where they had a bunch of scraps and they just made a long
That's
side
it.
of it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind
it.
of the same thing. But speaking of things that siege into one another, there that time of the night is does get kind of sieged into.
It
Uh
does, and
yes.
it's one of the maybe the more or less celebrated songs on the album because we do have the big singles. But I love this song.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Moody again. It's almost an overbearing bass line that kind of opens the song with those haunting guitars. But then the track builds into one of the more kind of energetic and almost explosive bursts across the album because it is quite a. It's not. It's not a slow album. It's not contained, but it's moody and atmospheric. And when it breaks out of that, you really notice. I think in that sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's the keyboards here are really kind of ear catching, great melody,
Oh yeah.
but then you also get the callback to Warm Wet Circles in the lyrics, which is something I always really like.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're alluding to drug taking, probably cocaine and various things with a short straw
The
and
cocaine
all
on the
that.
mirror. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But there's also the double meaning of the short straw being, as we would say in Scotland, it means you get the shitty end of the stick.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
we're doing all these different things because this is a guy who's down on his luck, feels that he's getting a hard deal, but this is his solution. His solution is to go and use the short straw, or
Mhm.
getting the short straw. So yeah, I can see why
That's
people love Fish's lyrics. They're just there's so many different ways of taking all of these things.
Well, that's what to me is the brilliance. I mean, that's what I love about the brilliance of the lyrics, and that I to your point, I've noticed all this too. The short straw, the
Mm.
last straw. It's all based on straws or what you use to drink alcohol. You know what I mean? But he's also doing the short straw, like you said. You draw the short straw. That's the worst straw you could get, and then the last straw is something where you could also say the last straw. I'm done. So it's there's so many different. I just love that he's using all
Yeah.
those metaphors. It's really cool. I love it. Then we head into Going Under, which is sort of a very, very sort of moody, sort of like a palate cleanser of sorts. Was Going Under originally on the track list? I don't think it was.
No, well, it's interesting because you say you have an original CD there. Is it on the original CD? Because it wasn't on the vinyl, and it wasn't on the vinyl because it
Actually,
doesn't.
it is. It's on number four.
Yes,
It's actually on
yeah.
there.
So it's part of the original album if you bought the CD. For someone like me that got to know it through vinyl, it's the B side to Incommunicado.
Okay,
Is
okay.
what it is. That's how I knew it. So when I first bought this album on CD, I was like, hold on a minute, why is Going Under on this album? Where did that come from? So
Right,
to me, as I say, nitpicking now, because when you do this, you nitpick.
right,
But to me, it's an interloper. Even all these years down the line, because I've had it on CD for decades now. Going
right,
Under comes
right.
on, and I kind of go, it's not meant to be here.
It's not supposed to
Why is
be in
that
there.
in?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We
Yes,
don't need this here.
yes, yes.
Because to me, and I like it, but
Hmm.
it's interesting that it's the first fade out on the album is as we come out of the last song and into Going Under. So you think, well, yeah, okay, so maybe this is a slightly different session or whatever
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
came up with this. And it's one of the very few parts of this album that to me, and it's because it wasn't there for probably at least a decade when I first heard this album, that I listened to it and go, just doesn't really need to be there. It doesn't move things along very much. It's nice.
Right.
I like it. It's a good song. As a B side, I
Hmm.
love the B side because Marillion, up until this point, because they don't write to the very end, used to always give you a bespoke B side, and I really
Right,
liked. And I
right.
almost felt cheated when I realised that it had been on the CD for all those years, and to me it was just a B-side.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a strange. I'm bringing me into this now because I've got a strange relationship with Going Under.
No, it's no, I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from because I know that it wasn't. There must have been some sort of argument that can you kind of think back. I mean, this is give me some, I don't know, right? I wasn't there, but it kind of feels like maybe there were some people that liked that song that wanted it on, and some people that didn't, and
I
because it
think
seems
it's
kind of,
purely down to track length. I think it's
yeah,
purely down to the limits of vinyl.
yeah, yeah,
It's what it is, and they couldn't squeeze, although they did later in the 90s when vinyl was about to go kind of out the window at that point. There are albums from the 90s you can hold in the middle and they bend, they're that thin because there's so many grooves on them.
hmm
But back in
right,
'87, we were still kind of going, if you put too many grooves on the record, you're compromising the quality of the end product.
right, right,
These are the amount of minutes you can put on, and Going Under feels like the natural thing to take out.
yeah,
The
yeah.
people who bought it on vinyl, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's understandable. I get it. I totally understand. I really enjoy this track. There's something about it. I love the atmosphere of it. I love that he's kind of it can. It's almost like I'm heading towards the cliff and I'm gonna fall off if I don't watch
Yeah,
it. He's being very very honest and open with his lyrics, and I just love again. I just for some reason I just love the atmosphere. It's really just kind of like one idea that just kind of keeps going, but
yeah,
it works for me as sort of like a middle, like you said. I could see how some people could say, "Oh, it's not really that needed," but I kind of like it there. I've gotten so used to it being there um, that I enjoy it. So there you go. And then there's one with you can get like this one says including guitar solo. So there's one where you can get a guitar solo. It doesn't fade out and you hear the solo. So there you go. So
okay. Now
yes.
that I did not know.
So there you go. This is the
Because
2018.
interestingly, on this version, track 4, it just says Going Under alternative mix.
Oh, okay.
So
Hmm.
I no, see, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole now.
Oh my God. We are fans here, people. We are big
Yeah,
fans, you can tell. We get into these details. This is fun. So then we head into Just for the Record, which is another, just
yeah.
love this one. Love this track.
And maybe this is where my issue with Going Under comes from because I don't think that Going Under moves into Just for the Record very well. But
Right.
that's because it's not there in my head. But
Yeah.
yeah, Just for the Record is fantastic and it offers a different feel. This is the album's happy song. It's not
Right.
really, but it's a happy song in the sense that it's about an alcoholic in denial or an
Yes.
addict in
Yes.
denial. This is the good times. This is the. Do you know what? I could give this up at any time, but
Yes.
maybe I'll
Yes.
do it. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Not
Tomorrow.
today.
Yes,
Today
tomorrow.
we're having
Yep.
fun, so I'll give it
Yep.
all up tomorrow, and we'll all be fine.
Yep.
Clearly, that's not what happens at all. But yeah, great melodic keyboard solo, which helps the spirits to soar and get consumed in the song. I would guess. And Fish is really forceful here. We haven't really spoken about his vocals across this album so much to this point because he's just another instrument really up till this point. He's just adding more interest, but he really comes to the fore on Just for the Record. And I really love it. And people will pick that up in the comments. I'm not underplaying what he's done up to this point,
Oh yeah.
but this is the first time where that kind of larger than life Fish comes out. Is maybe a
Yes.
better way of putting it.
Yeah, that whole just for the record, it's just a
Yeah.
passing phase, I could stop any day. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's great. It's so good. So good. And then that too loud, I found it's too, there's so many
Yeah.
hooks in this song. Oh my God. So good. And then then White Russian is another classic. I mean, I remember like not really understanding what it was about when I was younger. I was like, Uzi's on a street corner. What is that? I mean, is he talking suddenly we're talking about military? What's going on here? What's
Well,
maybe you
Torch,
can
the Torch character, the whole album up to a certain point, because at White Russian he actually starts to think about doing other things. But the album is set in Europe, not in the UK, in the terms of how deep the concept goes. So this is about neo Nazis in Austria coming back to the fore in the 80s after obviously everything that's happened there in the Second World War and just the threat that was involved in all of that. And it's really a song that, whilst Torch is living through all of this, and this is through his eyes, this is just a political statement, really,
okay.
saying
Right.
that Europe then, and arguably now, let's not get into too much politics, really needs to take a long hard look at itself and try and work out where it's going to go again, because we're learning very little from the past, and this threat is real on the streets now. So Uzis on a street corner is about Uzis. It's about machine guns. It's about the
Right.
threat that's there, and what could happen if the wrong choices are taken.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very much a song that includes kind of the east and west kind of thing that goes on and continues to go on in Europe, but also kind of looks to the past with the world wars, but also looks to the future about where we could go, and arguably it's as relevant now as it's ever been.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
I mean,
yes, it's a sharp lyric, really sharp.
yeah, absolutely. And in my mind too, it kind of, I was thinking sort of like that's what people talk about at the bar, right? When you're drinking, you start talking,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, by the way, Europe's going down the tubes, and this is why," like it's one of those. Kind of that's the way I kind of took it too, a little bit. Like it's Torch kind of talking while he's drinking, a little bit,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. It's harder hitting, I suppose, in many ways, because it's talking about atrocities, and it's talking about really what we can do as a species that we most definitely shouldn't.
Yeah,
The ability to do things as a species that you think we can't, we couldn't. How could anyone do that? But people do.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a very sharp, acerbic lyric that is beautifully dressed in different ways, as Fish has a real talent for.
yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then we head into the single "Incommunicado," which, as we talked about earlier, music is very uplifting. But again, sort of a sardonic, sarcastic lyric, almost saying like, you know, uh, this is the whole like success isn't going to bring you happiness thing, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the way I
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
And the beauty of the vinyl album, he says, the guy
Mhm.
that's showing the CDs here, is that White Russian's a great album, a great side ender, because it ends side one.
Yes,
And
yes, right.
Incommunicado is just, especially with how side one opens, quite moody and atmospheric, and you hear kind of the bell and all this kind of stuff rattling, and as we go into Hotel Hobbies,
Right.
Incommunicado just goes, "Ah,"
Yes,
and we
yeah.
have so much fun with it. And the way that the
Comes out
intro
swinging.
fades
Yeah,
in, and I just love how it fades in. So on the CD, it really works because we fade out and then fade in. And
right.
on the album, it works because where you put it on and you think, what's moody, and we've been atmospheric. The last couple of songs on side one have been quite hard hitting, maybe more uplifting musically. Then Incommunicado just comes rushing at you and just
Yeah,
blares in your face.
yeah, it does.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just love it. I love it
yeah.
so much. It's always a great live favorite when Fish used to play it, and back when Marillion used to play it. And really on the album, well, this is a song you can jump up and down to, guys.
Yes, yes. Oh, God, yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah, no,
Really good.
I mean, I have to bring it up because I did. This is the one thing I'm proud of myself is I did see Marillion on this tour, and it was at the Ritz, and I just looked it up for this episode to see what it was. I remember it was the Ritz. It's the Ritz in New York City on October 3rd, 1987, and they only played a select few US dates, but I was a full-on fan by this point. And my buddy Scott, who was my other huge Marillion fan, two of us were like, we got to go. So we went, and Incommunicado Live was so great. It was just so powerful and so good. And he came out, he walked out on the stage, and he's already a really tall guy, and
Mm.
he was up on stage, and he's got the jester pants on or whatever, and he's this really tall dude, and he looked huge on stage. It was like, oh my God, he's just such a good front man. So yeah,
He's 6'4", but on stage he's about 10'4".
yeah, exactly, exactly.
There's such a presence, and whether he is often one of his diatribes, one of his monologues in between songs, or whether he's playing the parts as he's singing them, you can't take your eyes off him. He's such a great performer, and I mean, I was fortunate enough to see his supposedly last two shows ever, but I still can't quite believe that he won't come back. But I don't think he will, to be fair. But there you go.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows, right? You never know. But he did kind of say like this is it. Well, we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. Never know.
I believe him, to be fair. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so then we head into Torch Song, which is kind of like the theme of the main character almost. Um
And what a change of tone from
yeah, it's a
Incommunicado.
huge change, right?
Yeah, that is as I say, that's the song you can jump up and down to, and even that kind of melancholic chuckle, and then you've got that
Yes.
gentle of the wine bottle opening at the start of Torch
Yes.
Song, and you
Yes.
hear it being
Yep.
poured. You know this is not a laugh a minute. We've had fun now, guys. We've moved
Right.
on from the fun. We're not about having fun. This is again those two words. It's moody, it's atmospheric, it's almost languid in the way that it kind of just moves and writhes and gets under the skin. Great little guitar passages here, and it all leads into the kind of doctor
Yes,
forebodingly
the
proclaiming,
doctor. Yes.
yeah, my advice is if you maintain this lifestyle, you won't reach 30. And Fish or Torch replies, Christ, well, it's sort of a romantic way to go, really. It's part of the heritage. And he goes
Yep.
to
Yep.
emphasize the point and follows that up with, it's you around, isn't it? And you think, I mean, we've learned nothing at all so far to this point.
Oh,
And
see, that's I always missed that at the end. I didn't realize he says that at the end. I couldn't tell
yeah,
what he's saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like that little full stop of, yes, I've taken on every word that you've said. I understand it. I'm not going to pay any heed whatsoever.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Do you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
It's really good. And then when the
It's
toms go,
high drama. It's high drama at this point. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the drums come back in, the cymbals crash, and I mean suddenly Fish is waxing lyrical at Jack Kerouac. We're off on a different
Right.
tack entirely here, and then that repeated refrain of "Burn a little brighter now."
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh
oh,
yeah.
just
Yes.
magnificent, isn't it?
Gets me. Gets me. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he
love
and
it.
again, his singing is incredible on this track. I mean,
Yes.
he's really singing his heart out. He's really it's amazing. I mean, he always does, but this album, it seems like almost even a little bit extra. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people might get the wrong impression when I say, oh, he's not a great singer. He's not a great singer, as in you couldn't just hand him any song. There are
Mhm.
guys out there who all they do is sing covers, and you can hand them a song and they can sing it, and they just convince you with everything that they sing. Fish needs to believe in the words that he's singing, and when he does,
Yes. Yep.
he's better than any of those guys could ever be.
Right, right, exactly. I think you're absolutely right about that. And then we head into the first song that they played when I saw them live, which is Slange Mahath. Is that how you say it? Slange?
Slange Nava is how
Slange
you
Mava.
pronounce it. Nava is how you pronounce it in the
It's like
Gaelic.
cheers, or
Um,
right? It's like a
That's
cheers.
it. That's exactly what it is. Your
Yeah,
health is what
yeah.
we're saying, realistically.
You're supposed to have whiskey in your hand, but I have Werner's.
Yeah, and I've got water, so we're definitely we're not
Yeah.
up to speed here at all. But that day, day,
Oh, yes,
day, it's
yes.
just so majestic, isn't it?
Oh, it's so everybody just lost it when they did that. I was
Yeah,
like, yes,
yeah.
yes, it's so
This to
good.
me on an album that is phenomenal is the masterpiece. I just love this song. I really
Yeah.
do. Hypnotic guitars,
Yes,
beating
yes.
drums again. The bass is fantastic, and that take it away, take it away, take it
Take it
away.
away. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh,
It's so oh, I'm getting chills. I love it. It's
yeah,
so good.
absolutely. It's so
Yeah.
good, and yet it's a song about broken promises.
Right,
It's a song
right,
about being let down. This whole
right.
song, your health and all this, it's all about being let down. It's all about being sold a lie. But it's done in such an uplifting and phenomenal way. It really
Yeah,
is. But it's also about delusion. It's a guy that's been sold short, but it's never his fault. It's always
right.
somebody else's fault. And this supposedly comes from a story of Fish trying to write lyrics to these songs sitting in a bar. And someone comes up and goes, oh, are you a writer? Oh, I see. I was a writer, but it never, this guy did this to me and that thing happened to me. And oh, I'd have been huge and famous and well known officials. Like, oh, hold on a minute. I'll use this
Yeah, yes,
as the
yes.
basis for that.
Yep.
So that's what the idea of this is. And this is where you start to get some themes that would recur later in Fish albums. You get Flanders Field gets mentioned, so you're kind of foreshadowing, which I think is on the Suits album, but you'd also go into looking at World War One on Feast of Consequences in his solo career, quite detailed. But then we talk about Bilston Glen, which is a small village in Scotland that used to have a mine, a colliery, and really let's say again, not get too political, but the mines is not really a thing in the UK anymore, like coal mining and various things. But we also talk about the Clydeside is what he uses. That rusts from the tears of broken men. So we're now going about the shipyards. So we're talking about all of the industry being taken away from Scotland by the British government in the 70s and 80s. And these are themes you would go back to strongly on Eternal Exile. I mean, the cover art for that single is a miner like this on a wheel
Okay.
being
All
strung
right.
up.
right.
So we're already these are the themes he would like to talk about here, and they go into he goes into it more deeply on the demos that are in here. With I mean, there's a few. Is actually Exile on Princess Street being in Edinburgh, and he would use those lyrics or those ideas later on. But you can understand why a band that the rest of the band are all from England, they're all kind of going, this is a bit of a leap for us. Do you know, is this really what
Yeah.
we want to, nail the
You want
mast
to be
to?
doing this right
I'm
now?
not
Yeah.
convinced that this is our fight at this point. And I
Right.
respect them for that too, because it wasn't. And it's, as was, I think, proven on Internal Exile, it also wasn't the way to sell an album.
Right.
Because
Right.
that was where things began to get a little bit more rocky for Fish in terms of relationships with record labels and the public not necessarily buying the same volume that they had before from them and various things. Because, I mean, these topics resonate with a certain amount of people up here, but not everyone. Once you move out of here,
Yeah.
it all feels quite parochial. So, yeah, it's interesting that the band were like, hold on, no, no, no,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
let's hang with it. But he manages to get some of it through, not a lot, but some of
Yeah,
it.
like you said, there's a little bit of divide. There's divide happening with the
Yeah.
lyrics and yeah, they're starting to question his lyrics a lot, which is I'm sure that's not fun when you're questioning your lyrics. It's not a fun
No,
thing.
but equally as, and whether it was tit for tat, he's questioning their music too.
Right,
So
right.
uncomfortable all round, I
Yeah,
would suggest.
yes, yes, a little bit uncomfortable, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
it's interesting because I've followed both of these careers since. I love Marillion, I love Fish solo, and when I talk about this era of the band, I try not to take sides. I don't know why.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
don't know who it matters to other than me, but I still
right.
look at it and kind of go, I can see where Fish was coming from, but I can understand why Marillion didn't go with it.
Yes, right. You can see both sides. Yeah, you see both sides of it. Yeah. And but it made for great. I mean, that's why we talk about it because it made for great art when they worked together. It was like, ooh, it's so good. Um, so yeah, yeah, so then we head into Sugar Mice, which again, Sugar Mice for the longest time. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Now, this is the best cover art that was produced for this album or around this album. Look at the logo, though, Tom. It's terrible. It's been
Yeah.
digitized.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
straight lines and things, but the
Yeah, I don't
cover
like
art,
that.
fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And the Tux on is the B-side. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so Sugar Mice. It's funny because for the longest time I thought he was just doing this poetic thing about oh, there's mice made of sugar and they're dissolving, and it's like no, there's actually sugar mice are things that are on a cake. They're like actually they're in the UK or something. People put mice on a cake, like little sugar mice or something. Is that something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is that side to it, but yet again, this is a song that is the meaning is buried below all of those. Realistically,
Right.
this
Right.
is a song who this is a father who has well, he's run away from his responsibilities and his own family, realistically. And the point of Sugar Mice is that I suppose what he's really meaning is it's sugar coated
Right.
because he found himself in a dive hotel somewhere in the US, either on tour or whatever it was at that point, staring at a ceiling, kind of going, how did I get here?
Milwaukee.
That's what, there we go.
Yes.
And at that point, he kind of went, no, wouldn't it be interesting if this was someone running away from their responsibilities and they landed here? And he looked
Right.
out of the windows of this place and it was just dealers on the corner, was
Yeah.
all he saw. And he was like, so if you ran away and this is what you ended up with, how on earth would you square that circle? How would you think, well, do you know what? That's what I should have been doing, but this is where I am. How I improve
Yes.
things for
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
at all. And same again, this is a single. This
Yeah.
cheerful topic
Right. Right. Right.
is a
Right.
single, and you start to see why this one got to number 22 in the UK, as did Warm Wet Circles.
Mhm.
Incommunicado got to number 6. It's not quite. It's not difficult to see why the wider public thought Incommunicado, oh, the song you can jump up and down to.
Right.
And the other
Right.
two, hmm,
Yeah.
these are deep and meaningful, great songs, absolutely great songs, and the obvious singles from the album. But outside of the Marillion fan base or people like you and me that go, oh, he's fantastic. I can understand why people went, I don't know if I want to, on a Saturday, getting ready to go out, let's put on Sugar Mice.
Yeah. Yeah. Sugar Mice is not exactly an upbeat song. It's not really, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's not
Very.
upbeat. and it, it's one of those, daddy took a rain check, and like it's funny, I never thought of that as much as the way you just described it really opens my eyes a little bit about, this is what I did all this for. This is what I sacrificed all this.
Mhm.
I'm sitting here in a hotel in Milwaukee in the rain, and it's just nasty out, and I'm looking outside, and this is what I did all this for, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, so yeah, but I have to say this, that have to be said, that my friend Drew at school, I remember listening to this song, and he was not a prog guy at all, at all. He loved this song. He thought it was a great. He's like, "Oh my
There
God, I
you
love
go.
that song." So there you go.
Yeah, so what do I know? It's touching people who this kind of music wouldn't necessarily touch. So
Right, right.
maybe it does translate as a single. Yeah,
Yeah, he
absolutely.
loved it. He thought it was this beautiful song, and it is. It is beautiful. It's really, really
Yes,
nice. And
very.
but I mean, not nice in a sentiment, the sentiment, but it's the beautiful melody. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
it's the sentiment of this album is raw. It's very open. It's harsh. It's not comfortable. This is not a comfortable album to sit and really talk about the topics that are being discussed here. But Fish never was, never will be. So that's why it works because he means it. It's real.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then the album ends on a strong note for me on the last
Yeah.
straw. I think it's, yeah, I always forget this song. Like I don't know why. When I was listening back for this episode, I just wanted to listen to it again. I know this album very well, but I just figured I'd listen to it one, just you never know. Sometimes you get new insights, you listen to it. But I forgot this song is so good. This is another great closer.
Isn't it? And same again. There's little bits about this song that I love. I mean, for a start, I love the that brings it in. It just that it's a
Yes.
really
Yes.
simple drum beat to bring it in,
Right.
but it just fantastic. And then the lyrics hark right way back to Hotel Hobbies, which is
Yes.
really clever. We are just kind of
Full circle. We're going full
finishing.
circle. Yep.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yep.
And you get that kind of the middle eight, but it gets really moody. And does any other singer ever manage to pull off things like how or shh? It's all
Yes.
little
Yeah.
bits that you listen for that anyone
Yep.
else doing it, like me, for example, sounds ridiculous. Fish does it, sounds fabulous. And it's just, it makes no sense because
Mhm.
these are just strange little scat noises that he makes, but they just make for the whole song. It just raises everything just that another
Little
notch.
extra,
It's
yeah.
an outfit. Absolutely. Um, and yeah, I mean, another stinging, singing guitar solo. I really, Rothery's
Ruther's on his
trademark.
game. Yeah, he's
Oh,
on his game.
isn't he just? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
clattering toms, the keyboards are phenomenal here.
Mhm.
And I really do like the kind of the call and response lyrics at the end.
Yes.
Clutching
Still
darkness,
drowning. Yep.
still drowning. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Tessa Niles that's doing the female vocal part on that.
She
She's
kills it. She kills it,
fantastic,
yeah.
isn't she? And I do love that the song is actually, I don't know if it's called that on every version, but it's called The Last Straw, Stroke, Happy Ending. And the
Right.
happy ending is just this echoing laugh. So we kind of come in on a chuckle. Do you
Yeah.
know the album comes in
Yeah.
on and we end on a laugh, and it's called Happy Ending. But you're left wondering, is it really?
Yes.
Just because we've laughed at the end of all this pain and suffering and self-introspection, just because we've had a little laugh at the end, I think
This
it's actually him kind of laughing in that sort of sardonic way when you kind of go, oh well, this is
yeah.
where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the whole thing's great.
No, you're right. I had the same exact feeling about that. It's almost like I always took it as kind of like, oh, I know I just told you all these tales of woe and all these how bad my life is and how crazy and terrible and but I'm okay. I'm still laughing. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But is he really? I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not convinced. I'm not convinced
yeah.
it
I'm
would
not
really
convinced
work
by
with this
one
album.
laugh. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So yeah,
it's
but
a great way to
but
end
a
it.
great song, great way to end the record. I mean, and again, we talked a lot about Fish during the lyrics and Fish, but man, and we did touch on music as well, but the music on this record is just
Yeah.
fantastic. The band is on fire, the whole record. They're killing it on this record.
I mean, can you imagine writing out basically an album's worth of material and then as a group kind of going, nah, don't really like
Yes.
any of that. It doesn't meet the brief. We
Yeah.
might reuse some of these parts down the line, but we need to start again.
Scrapping it. Yeah, scrapping it.
This is
Yeah.
take two.
Yeah.
This is take two. I mean, and it's markedly better than take one. Although there's some interesting stuff on the demos. For anyone that's not heard them, they are worth go on and give them a listen, both for the
Oh, they're
curio
definitely
version
worth
of
it. Yeah.
this bit
Yeah.
goes here and that bit goes there, but also there's some good stuff there. But this is, yeah, it's a masterpiece in my humble opinion. I really think that we've got a whole band, 5 individuals, but certainly 4 musicians, who are right at the top of their game, both in singing, writing, arranging, the solo contributions from everybody. The whole thing just comes together quite magnificently. It really does. And this is, and always will be, I would suggest, a top 2 Marillion album for me. Is it my favourite? It probably is today because I've listened to it a lot in the last couple of weeks again.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I might put Brave on in a couple of weeks' time, and that might be my favourite because those are the 2 that will always continue to do this for me, realistically. But
Mhm.
it's, yeah, I've picked holes because that's kind of what we're here to do. There are
Yeah.
no holes here at all, none, not one.
I'm not finding any for personally, but
No, you
oh
didn't. You didn't even make them up. I made some up.
yeah, I didn't even try. I didn't even try. I'm not even being objective about it. Forget it. I just
Yeah.
am I'm fanboying out on this one. I'll just admit it.
Yeah, my main
Uh,
hole of the album was that the version I had didn't have all the songs on it, and now that the CD version does, I don't want that. I do
yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly. No, I just think this is concur. I think this is a stone cold masterpiece, and I just love it
Yeah,
to death, and I still love it. I loved it when got it, and I still love it today. I just think it's
yeah.
fantastic, and it's yeah, it's raw. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of it's intense. I mean, you're to your point. You're not. It's one of those records. You're not like on Friday night going out. You're not gonna be like, oh, let's put on Clutching at Straws. It's not that kind of record. But when you're in the right mood,
But then
you know,
you could put an Incommunicado, and
that's true.
let's go out after that.
That's true.
So even meets
That's true.
that brief there.
And the live to your point, you mentioned the live versions. I mean, the live versions are actually a little more like they seem a little more up. I don't know
Yes.
how to describe it, but
Yeah, I think that there's more oomph behind some of the live versions, I would suggest, because White Russian becomes much more. The version on the album is fantastic and hard hitting, but live it just became a real tour de force,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and a real fan favorite, and it does become a much more not uplifting because it is uplifting, and that's the strange thing with these songs, both musically and lyrically. Is White Russian uplifting? Probably not. Does it
right.
raise the spirits? Absolutely.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
really clever. Really
yeah.
clever. You can't
And
be downbeat all the time.
I'm doing a lot of air guitar and air drums, and there's a lot of that going on when I'm listening to this record. A lot of
Yeah.
that.
And then
So
they can pull it right back down again. And that's
yes,
clever too.
yes,
Yeah.
which is what the magic of Marillion. That's what they do so well. So. But yeah, so I think that might be a good place to stop. I think I mean, unless you've got some concluding thoughts, I mean, maybe just, I don't know if there's any last
Well, it's
thoughts.
the end of an era, isn't it? I
End of an
suppose
era. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the concluding thought. I mean, we get La Gazalandra, the Thieving Magpie, the live album, which is an interesting live album because it's pieced together. It's not one show, so they kind of try and take performances from the era where these songs were fresh and new and vibrant, and that works for me as a live album. But it's an interesting concept. But yeah, this is it. This is the full stop, and it
Yeah.
takes decades for these people to want to even acknowledge each other
Right.
in a
Right.
pleasant way. We
Yes.
go from here. We move into lawsuits, and I remember the first time I went to see Fish solo on his first solo tour before Vigil had come out. And he never finished the punchline, didn't give the punchline, but his joke was, how many people does it take to write a Marillion album? And this is a kind of stage that we were at this point because that they needed help finishing the lyrics on the season's end. Um, he was still kind of trying to turn the knife and all this kind of. So
Yes.
they
Yeah.
really they
Yeah.
went from a band of brothers who would have run over broken glass for each other and fought battles for each other to people who couldn't even be pleasant about each other in interviews or even on stage when the band or the whatever. Marillion were a little more coy, but Fish not never the most
It
coy
did
of
not.
individuals.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
most definitely not. But Marillion were also not pleasant about them. But I don't think they deserved to be pleasant about each other. They weren't pleasant to each other the way it
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking, well, you were turning your nose up at my lyrics and now you're desperate for lyrics. So there, he's one of those, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the story goes that he'd had enough at the end of the
Yeah.
tour, and the thought of doing all this again. And he put in a resignation letter when things had come to a head. I think half expecting the band to go, oh, okay, hold on, let's take a break, let's think. And they just went, yeah, okay, see you later.
Yes, right. Exactly. I think he was not happy about that. He was like, "Wow, you guys let me go
Bluff
so
calls,
fast." Yeah,
and you're like, well,
yeah,
okay. But
yeah,
I think we all won out of it in many ways because I really like what Marillion did after. Not everyone does. I really
yeah,
like what Fish did after. Not everyone does. I do wonder if where Marillion could have gone from here with Fish. Could have been the best thing ever, but it might
yeah.
not.
That's well,
So
that's of course the fan, right? That's always the fan thing of like, oh, one more
yeah,
record. It would be really cool. One more album. But then I think, wow, this is so perfect. Like, how are you going to beat that? Like, I don't
yeah.
know. It's one of those.
I've always been satisfied with the 4 albums that we got
Yeah,
from Fish era Marillion because I have picked holes in all 4 as we've gone through this journey because that's what
right.
we're here to do. But they're
Hmm.
fabulous. 4 of them are fabulous,
Still
and they
very
really are
good.
a journey.
Yeah,
Yeah, from a young band into this really fully fledged, fully formed act that are just flying and soaring through the sky at this point.
yeah,
And then it burns out. It never fades away because we're still talking about it now. So I
yeah.
don't know if I need more realistically in that sense. I'm just grateful for what we got.
No, and I think that's the right attitude. That's always and it's thinking about what might have been. What's after a while, it's just this is just what fans do. But
Yep.
anyway, some people say, "Oh, stop talking about it. It's not reality." But whatever. So anyway, I think that's a good place to stop. So thank you, Stephen. Again, thank you so much. You are just always bring
Always a
so
pleasure.
much to the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Thoroughly enjoyed it as always.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And if you're still with us, you must be a huge Marillion fan as well. So we appreciate you and thank you so much for watching. And please comment below what is your take on clutching at straws. Let us know. You might not think it's the classic that I do or that we do, but that that's okay. We can take it. We're
Yep.
grown men. So so anyway, it might hurt a little, but I can take it. But please like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Stephen. And we will see you next time on Curless Mania. See ya.